sometimes you may run into difficulties installing the new piece, so we're going to troubleshoot a little bit for you. Okay, if you'll look here at this track, sometimes when the old pieces break, they'll actually bend the track as well, and you can see here that one side is bent out of shape just a bit. So when we try to actually put it on, I can't even get the metal back plate to actually fit on there. So in instances like this, what we usually like to do, and you know, this is what I found is easiest for me, is just to take the actual track off of the drawer. And we can do that. If you lay the drawer down flat, you'll see a screw up at the front that actually holds it into place. And we'll just go ahead and remove that. And sometimes these tracks will be glued down, not very often, but do check for that before you actually try to unscrew it. Almost there. Okay, just take the screw out there and pop the track out. And this may make it a little easier to actually change out. Now that we have the track off the actual drawer, you can actually see a little bit better that the piece is bent. And what we're going to try to do is actually bend it back together with a pair of pliers. You should be able to do this fairly easily. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. We really just want it to get to where it actually fit into the grooves here on the actual guide. The guide to do the rest of the work once you get it in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and try to bend that back a little bit. As you see, it's going a little bit more into shape like it should be. Alright. So then we'll go ahead and try to fit these grooves here onto the track. And that's where, again, like earlier, we'll go ahead and go in at the angle and see if we can pop it into place. And sometimes it may not be bent enough, and that's when you'll just have to go back to your pliers. It may take a few minutes to get it straightened out. Yeah, it's not going to be completely easy sometimes. Sometimes it will fight you, so just keep trying, troubleshooting with it, and eventually you'll get it to go ahead and pop directly onto the track. Okay, well, if you still have a case like this where the track is actually already straight again, sometimes due to production, these guides will still be a little too out of shape in those corners. So what we're going to do, we have a hot water trick that I want to show you. Okay, and you just take a cup of hot water that you've heated up for about a minute, minute and a half, and you pop the drawer guide right down in there. Okay, you can use your screwdriver to hold it down into the water. That way it'll get fully submerged into the hot water. Leave it in there for about 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, somewhere in there. Alright, well now we're just going to go ahead and scoop this out of the water here. Make sure you do it carefully so you don't burn yourself. Alright, and this should actually make it a lot more flexible and easier to get on this track. So we're going to go ahead and again, like we did with the angle earlier, we're just going to pop it right into place, and as you can see, it even caught the little tab down there. So everything is properly in place for this particular one. Now that we have the plastic piece on, which is the hardest part of the work here, we're going to go ahead and get it back on the drawer. So we are going to slide the commercial metal backing plate. If I put it on the right way, make sure that it fits right up next to your guide. Okay, and then we're just going to fit it right back into its place on the drawer. Now at this point, you're going to want to get the screw that came out of the front of the drawer, and you're going to go ahead and screw this guide back in there. And again, just make sure that that's in there pretty firm to hold the track into place. Okay. Now what you want to do is flip the drawer back up and get your other screws from earlier. For the actual guide, you want to go ahead and place those as well. And just be sure to hold the guide in place while you're placing the screws in as well. That way it'll stay in its correct area. And make sure those are snug as well. Okay? Alright. Now everything has been changed out, even with the damaged track. We still have the same things here, and everything seems to be working together. So we'll go ahead and put this drawer back in its proper home. Thank you.